You're listening to Permission to Shine, the podcast. Stories of overcoming obstacles and finding self-empowerment with Sherisse Bisram, Inner Power Activation Leader. The Oxford Dictionary describes permission as the action of officially allowing someone to do a particular thing, consent, authorization. What if you were that someone and you gave yourself the permission to be everything you wanted to be and more? No more playing small and accepting less than. You are worthy of the life of your dreams, regardless of what it is that you've been through. And honestly, it's exactly what you've been through that has shaped you into the version of yourself that you are now. Like a diamond, you've endured so much, but instead of breaking, you have become stronger and brighter. And if that's not a reason to shine, then I don't know what is. And if nature can do it, then why the hell can't you? You are brave, you are strong, you are powerful, and you are enough. Hear my call and give yourself the permission to shine, because you don't realise how many people are inspired by your light. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 51. If you are listening up to date, I apologise. This is an episode, a day late than I normally post, but I felt like in honour of the bank holiday, it was okay. So I'm just honouring that for myself. And it actually brings me to a really interesting topic of what I feel like really needs to be spoken about. And I feel like I dabble in talking about this a little bit here and there, but I think it's really important right now, especially because we've just had crazy eclipse seasons. If you've been listening up to date, you will know about that. But anytime you listen to this, obviously, I'm sure it'll be relevant in your life. But we are about to enter the Taurus new moon, which is the start of a new cycle. So, basically, what I wanted to talk about was, are you standing in your own way? Now, why this is important today as well is because, as I said, we've had a bank holiday in the UK if you're listening to time. But also, just in general, I feel like all of us will find a reason to either do something or not do it. And it's come up quite a lot with my clients, but also myself in my own life. And I'm going to be very transparent about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I am someone that honors discipline like no one's business. You know, I am one of the most disciplined people I know, to a point where people think I'm low-key crazy, and I am. There's no low-key about it. It's fully there. And it's only because I know the implications of not doing my daily practices. So that's why I'm so consistent in everything that I do, because I know, and I know the feeling and the outcome of not doing the thing I said I was going to do, right? So, for example, I always speak about I have a morning routine and a nighttime routine. Now, if I don't do either or, my sleep is crazy, right? So I need to set my day up right, because then my intentions for the day are locked in and my mind isn't wandering as much. Now, don't get me wrong, my mind still wanders a lot. I think that's also part of trauma responses, and I think it's also ADHD. Now it's not severe for me, but I know that that's one of the main things that are spoken about a lot, so I don't want to self-diagnose there, but I've had a few conversations with people that specialize in it, and then I've been like, yeah, that makes sense. But just in general, I think living a life where I've constantly overthought everything, a trauma response, I think more so than it is ADHD, but you know, they cross over. So there we are. So I feel like for me, again, setting a very clear intention for the moment I wake up of what I want to receive in that day and what the intention of the day is going to look like. For example, today's going to be a very productive day. And then I might list some things that I want to go really well. I might just expect peace, like if it's a Sunday and I've got a really chill day ahead of me, I might just say, I'm looking forward to a day of peace, I'm receiving a day of peace. And I know this sounds very woo-woo, but when you say that and you call it into existence, the universe helps to create that for you. And I do find that. And I mean, I don't know whether that's completely woo-woo and just me used to doing that, working with the universe, and then it synchronizes into that, which, I was going to say, or just coincidence, but there's no coincidences in the universal law. So yeah, sorry if you're not woo-woo. That's just my belief, okay? Because even today, I had the intention of being really productive, and I was. And everything that I set out to do that I feel was right for the day, I did. There's a few things I've moved over to tomorrow because it made more sense, because everyone's going to be back to work tomorrow. So there's no point sending lots of emails out on a weekend because, you know, no one's going to be responding. So I had to jig a few things around. But generally, I stuck to what I said I was going to do. I created a plan, I followed it, and I set my intention at the beginning of the day. And it's the same with the evening routine for me. As I said, I won't sleep well if I don't wind down. Now, again, for someone that's a chronic overthinker, now my thoughts of overthinking are more so tasks I have to do, and also like positive in, I don't know what the right word is here. Like, as in, I can overthink a lot, right? But it's all positive most of the time, or I'm reworking scenarios to get a positive outcome for them. Or sometimes I'm analysing some situations that happened and what did I learn from it. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on by my brain all of the time. And I always say to my clients, it's a bit like when we go to sleep, it's almost like we have lots of tabs open, you know, in a browser. So imagine that your brain is like a browser and there's lots of tabs open. If we're not consciously closing down the tabs, they're going to keep running basically. And then everything else feels slower because your mind is just so occupied with all of those things. So I do try to, throughout the day, close the tab. So once I've finished thinking about something and I've got the resolution out of it, I'll close that tab down and be like, oh, I'm glad I've found that solution. That's put to bed, and then I'll move on to the next thing. So I do consciously do that while I'm awake during the day, but also, you know, more so at night when I've got my downtime. So my screen limit comes on at 11 p.m. Sometimes I'm in bed. Well, I wouldn't say in bed before that, but I'm winding down before that. So I'm not scrolling through my socials. And it's hard because I use socials for my job. So obviously I've got to be mindful of that. But I do find between the hours of kind of like 8 to 10, that is kind of my downtime. So I could scroll quite happily for that amount of time, unless I'm busy, or I might watch a film, or yeah, just chat to whoever I'm with, you know, like there's quite nice things in between that. But yeah, if I'm not doing anything and I allowed myself to, we could easily lose hours, right, scrolling. And that's why it's called doom scroll. So that's why for me, putting that screen limit on is the best thing I could do for myself, because that's my cue to be like, if I'm not already upstairs, I never go on my phone in bed unless I'm researching something, because I just don't like that energy. Like, I actually don't even have a TV in my room. I know. Oh my gosh, I know. Crazy. I told you I was crazy. So yeah, my room space is really about peace. And I was really conscious about doing that. I've got lots of books in my room. I mean, it's super woo-woo. If you walked in here, there's crystals and candles everywhere. But that's how I roll, you know, and that's what sets the tone for me for, like I said, that peaceful environment. So me creating these routines for myself and being consistent in them, as I said, I know the feeling of not doing it. And I don't want that. You know, I don't want to overwhelm myself. I don't want to like feel burn out and all of the things. It's so important that I have that ritual for myself. But when it comes to setting a new thing, right, we all have this like bit push and pull with it. Now, I always say it takes 21 days to build a habit. So that means that you have to do that thing consistently for 21 days before it becomes second nature. Now, what I noticed for myself is probably, I would say, the end of April, or was it maybe, no, March, let's say March, the end of March, I realized that March I burnt myself out massively. I was taking on too much, I was doing too much, I had too many social plans, my energy was going towards the wrong people and things. And so when the eclipse season happened, it naturally cut out some cycles that actually benefited me a lot. So April felt like it started to slow down a little bit. And I managed to get some time for myself. And that's also because I do some work in schools, and I managed to have some time off for the half term the second week. So I did get a full week off that week, which is quite rare for me, but equally I'm still working in my business, you know, but it was a lot more calmer. So I've tried to carry that energy throughout the rest of the end of April and into May. And as it's Taurus season now, it is more about slow and steady wins the race. Now, whenever you listen to this, obviously the energy will shift, but we can always choose that option.
And I think sometimes, especially for someone that has been in burnout for most of their life, that is a safe space for me, is to work really hard. I know how to do that. So I find myself falling into that pattern subconsciously without being aware of it. So sometimes the universe does need to intervene, but energetically and physically, my body will tell me now, and my energy levels will tell me, like, you need to rest, you need to take time off. And so I did notice that because of that pattern breaking, I did start to ease into the softness, right? Which was lovely. And I've had a really lovely few weeks of just treading carefully through the last few weeks. And also, I don't feel like I was swimming against the current. I felt like I was kind of just happily floating along. But then what happens is, when you float too long, you start to realize you need to turn over and start swimming again. And that's kind of where I've got to. And I'm starting to work with a new mentor and things like that. And she said something to me really profound, and I wanted to share it because this all ties into my work and the work I do with my own clients. But she said to me that safety is created in structure. Now, as I said, I love a bit of structure, always have done. But I think what I realize in myself is that when I allow myself to rest too much, there's not enough structure in place. Now, again, I am ridiculously structured compared to most people, but that for me would be the thing where, am I standing in my own way by not having extra structures? So, for example, I'm not a spreadsheets person, never have been, right? My business is formulated based on soul alignment of my gifts and my life experience, which is very different to a lot of people in business, because a lot of people in business have done the business degree, right? They know how to do all this stuff. Their second nature is business spreadsheets and, Excel docs and all of the things. That's not my natural nature. So she just kind of said to me, like, I think you putting these things in place is going to help you massively. And over the last few days, especially today, it's a bank holiday, but I chose to work because I had a day off yesterday, which was a Sunday, which I normally do. And I realized I spent a lot of that energy disconnected from my work, which was great. And even today, I woke up and I was a bit like lethargic. I could have had more time off, but I knew in myself that if I didn't set myself up for the week, and I didn't plan the things that I needed to do, and I didn't do the things I said I was going to do, it would backfire on me for the week ahead. So I learned my lesson in the past, and I wasn't going to do that again. And I remembered what she said. It's about the structure for me, and that creates the safety. And I'm a firm advocate of this anyway, just in my life in general. Like, I talk a lot about self-trust, and this is exactly it, right? Where we're holding ourselves back, where we're choosing not to do the thing we know we need to do, you're building up a case study to not trust yourself. I'm not that person. I will never abandon my own needs, ever, ever again. I did it in the past. I did it when I was younger as a form of survival because I didn't know any better. And I've done it again in, friendships and relationships in the past. I wasn't willing to do that in this new chapter of my life. So I really do say what I'm going to do. And I'm so proud of myself for that in every part of me. And that's what integrity is. And I know I speak about that quite a lot, but that is so important to me because I pride myself in being someone that says what they're going to do and being someone that people can trust because I trust myself. Now, I take radical accountability for when I don't do that as well. And when I don't do it, I don't shame myself about it. So say, for example, if I needed to take the extra day today, I would have said to myself, okay, well, where can we fit this time in somewhere else? Where can I move these tasks to still get them done for the week, to still make sure I'm setting myself up for the week in a great way, but give myself a bit of grace, right? And that's the balance of just everything in life. I think you've got to be able to ebb and flow within. But I think when you set some strong routines and habits in your life that are solid pillars, almost like a dam. Yeah. If you imagine that your boundaries, your responsibilities, your routines, your rituals are your dam, then the flow is everything in between. It's life, right? But you know that the water can't spill out of the edge of whatever it is, because when it overflows, that's when it becomes overwhelming. So it's almost, creating these like spaces in our lives for us to flow between, but also, feel safe in ourselves. And I think that's so important, and just a really nice way to look at it, because so many people, and especially my clients, when they come to me, they are saying like, oh, I want to do this and this, I want to do this and this, but they don't do it. And this is the thing with my work, especially because obviously I'm solutions based. If I was just doing talk therapy, it would be fine to not do the things I say with my clients. So for example, if I set a new morning routine, and I know that that's going to set that person up to start thinking positive thoughts in the mornings because they spiral a lot, that for me would I would have to call them out. That's what I do all the time. I call my clients out, and they know that I'm a very, no BS type of person, because that's how I've always lived my life. Now, I do have room for grace, but as I said to you at the beginning, if we make an excuse, we continue to make excuses, and we don't get out of our own way, right? So sometimes, even when it feels hard, we do have to push through it. Like today, when I was feeling a little bit off, a little bit tired, I was like, okay, what can I do to shift my day around? And this is where you gain tools, right? For me personally, as I said, it's important to me to honor this version of myself, the past version of me, to honor the future version of me. So now I'm the present version of me, but the past version of me knew that if I didn't record my podcast now, I wouldn't be able to wind down as early as I would like to, because I would maybe shower first, then come to sit down, and then it becomes late. So I was like, okay, how can I honor myself now? And my future self will thank me, because then probably within the next hour, I'll be showered, podcast will be uploaded, and I can just chill out for the evening, right? If I didn't do that, I'd be rushing around. Maybe I wouldn't get no downtime, and then I'd have to go to bed, and I'd be overthinking. So this is where we set ourselves up for success, and we make better choices. Now, the problem is we get in our own way because we create a case study again about why we shouldn't do the thing. But this is where we need to retrain our thought pattern to be like, well, how can I, one, do I need to do the thing? That's always worth asking yourself. Is this important? Do I need to do it now? And in my journal, my worksheets, I have a boundaries thing, and you can do that with it's a circle. You can do that with tasks you have for the week. You can do it with people. It's a really good way of you getting clear, especially if you're a visual learner. It's a really nice way for you to see that for yourself. So you get really clear on, is this important right now? Can it wait? Right? Then you ask yourself, if I don't do these things, what is the repercussions? And or can I move this somewhere else in my week, in my day, whatever, right? And then after that, it's like, well, actually, I suppose that probably is the main things, to be honest. But I guess on the basis of those things, if you assess it and you weigh it out and you realize that actually it's not that important, I can do it another day, then you've got that grace to be like, okay, cool, I can relax now. But if you know that you need to get it done, then at least on the other side of it, you've done the thing. And I can't tell you what, there's such a great sense of satisfaction when you do the thing you said you're going to do. Like low key, that's probably the most success you can gain per day. Because I think we put success on a big pedestal, right? And we're like, oh, it's the accolades, it's the achievements, but doing something every day that you said you were going to do for yourself, that's what builds that really deep self-worth. Because again, like I said, you're building self-trust step by step, brick by brick, you're building self-trust. So every day, if you're achieving the things you set out to do for yourself, your confidence will skyrocket, because you are someone that has so much integrity. You do what you're going to say. And honestly, people know it and they see it in you. You don't even have to have conversations with people for them to see it with you. And I find that for myself, when I just hold a space for people, people can read that on me. They're like, yeah, like I really trust you, because why? I trust me. I trust myself, and people can read that for me. I'm not projecting that. That's literally just me opening and having a safe space for people. And again, that safety that I create is a projection. Well, not even a projection. It is the safety I have within myself, just opened out in a wider form. I can hold the space because I hold the space for me. And this is why all of this is so important. So, if you do choose not to do the thing, you could then fall into that shame and blame spiral. And then you can then fall into victim mentality because you're like, oh, I never do it. I never do it. I'm still in the same place. My life hasn't changed. I've not made a difference. That's on you. That is 100% on you to make better choices for yourself. Now, I always talk about the proverb, the Indian American proverb, and it's about the wolf, you know, the good wolf and the bad wolf, and what one wins every day. They're both having an argument in your mind. The one that wins is the one you feed. Now, if that negative wolf that you've always fed is the biggest wolf there, it does take a bit of reprogramming to be able to feed the good wolf instead. And the bad wolf will bark and it will try and, you know, come for the other wolf, but you have to feed the positive thoughts. Like I said, if you keep evaluating, why is it important to do this thing? Why do I need to do this thing? Well, one, it's going to change my mindset completely. I'm going to stop feeling low, stuck, sorry for myself. You know, all of these things, you're going to have more energy. You're going to be more vitalized. You're going to look better because, say, for example, you wanted to go to the gym in the morning. It's like, I'm actually going to get up and go in the morning. I have so much energy. My endorphins are going to be through the roof. I'm going to be more productive at work. Like, these are all the reasons why I need to do this thing, right? Don't entertain the bad ones. Yeah, okay, if you've done it for 2 days in a row and you're aching, maybe that third day you don't do it, but then the fourth day you're like, no, I'm back on it again, right? But whatever your plan is, you can go once a week in the morning if that's all you want to do. But my main thing here is like, do what you are going to say. Do what you're going to say. Yeah, do what you say. Do what you say you're going to do. That is exactly what I meant. Yes, I got confused there, but it was absolutely right. So yeah, you've got to be a person of integrity for yourself, not for anyone else either, you know, unless you are holding the space for people, as in like a teacher or a manager or, you know, whatever it is. And even as a parent, you know, like, I think I don't talk about parenting too much because I'm not a parent myself, but in this work that I do, I see it across the board, you know, and unfortunately, your kids know. They know if you aren't someone that says what you're going to do, because this is the thing, kids don't learn by what you tell them, they learn by observing. How many of us are a byproduct of bad parenting, you know? Now, I'm not calling anyone's parenting bad, by the way, but we know things could have been done differently for us, right? And if they were done differently, maybe we wouldn't have had the trauma that we have now. And that's just the fact. You know, I'm not shaming anyone. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying if things were a bit different, I would have turned out differently. Wouldn't change it. Not saying that. But I'm just saying if we call it what it is, call a spade, it is what it is, right? So as conscious adults now, how can we be the version of ourselves that we want to be? Because it's not about saying it, it's about being in it, right? It's doing the thing you said you're going to do, honoring yourself, so then you become everything you want to be and more. And this is the combination of the masculine and feminine energy in divine space, right? Because your masculine energy creates the safety for your feminine energy to flow. There we go. There it is. Boom. Said it. Yeah. So that's when I talk about this dam, the dam of structure, right? That's the masculine energy. And then the feminine energy has lots of space to create and to flow through all of that and to soften, you know. We all need both masculine and feminine energy. But this is the thing. If you don't, you know, keep that structure and that routine that you said you would, that's where it becomes blurred lines. And even if you are someone right now listening saying, I have no structure at all, how do you feel about yourself every day? Are you going for a roller coaster of emotions all the time? Are you scatty and feel like you lose things all the time? Or, you know, do you feel like people in your life are a bit inconsistent? Because this is the thing, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can set these structures for yourself, these boundaries, these routines and rituals for yourself, everything in your life will benefit from it, right? So I really want you to ask yourself, sit down with those questions and be like, how am I, you know, showing up for myself? Or how am I standing in my own way right now? Because this is even the thing with manifestation, you know, in order to receive everything you want, you have to be a vibrational match. That means you have to feel it energetically, like I am worthy and deserving of this thing that I want. And if you don't feel that, if you don't have that self-trust and that sense of self-worth, you won't receive it. Because that's my thing, right? I believe that manifestation is a byproduct of high and deep self-worth. And if there is no element of you that feels worthy, the universe is like, well, you don't feel worthy of it, so why am I going to give it to you? You're just going to, and even if I did give it to you, you're just going to doubt yourself, or you're going to not feel grateful, or you're going to like pass it on to someone else because you don't feel like you deserve it. That's the universe there, you know, making that decision for you. So this is why all of this stuff is important. And this is that divine masculine energy. And I don't speak about that often, but I feel like it needs to be said. So yeah, I'm just calling you out right now. Where are you standing in your own way? And how can you get out of your own way? So on that, you know, if you have any questions about it, please do drop me a DM, or, you know, we can have a conversation about it and see how I can support you. Because obviously, again, this is all of my work. This is what I'm walking my clients through. And, you know, everything that I'm doing myself, you know, I would never teach anyone anything I'm not doing myself. And that's exactly why I'm standing in this energy with you. And being honest, you know, and like I said, I'm so structured and disciplined in my life, but there is still space, you know, where I could be better. And I'm really honest about that, because, you know, I'm not here to be right. I'm here to get it right, by Brene Brown. But it's exactly that, you know, we are constantly ebbing and flowing and evolving. And I think with every level that you grow to, there will need to be some tweaks that need to be made, changes that need to be made. Maybe sometimes the routine can loosen, because it's that actually, you know, I've done this for the last few years. It's been great, but actually I want to have, you know, a little bit of a later bedtime now, you know, that there's things that you can move around once you do build a solid foundation for yourself. But if you don't have a solid foundation, if the dams aren't in place, the water's going to overflow and flood everything all of the time. And I'm sure you're sick of drowning, right? So this is why the structure is important. I'm going to talk all about this at my upcoming event. So if you are in the UK, I'd love for you to be there. It's Thursday, the 23rd of May, and it's in Maidstone, and brunch is included. It's 10:30 to 1:30 p.m. It is a Thursday, but I feel like it's important, right? And it will also go as CPD. So anyone that is in the office space, you can actually claim that money back, because it goes as training. And that's exactly what we're doing. Like, you know, this is empowerment. So it's mental health and well-being. I'll be breaking down all of these things, and it's super, super affordable. I will put the link in my bio and the show notes. So please do, have a look at that. Bring a friend. Obviously, the more the merrier. I just feel like we really need these spaces to cultivate the very best version of ourselves, because it's locked in you, right? And I think a lot of my clients come to me because they want someone to be accountable to. And that's exactly what this event will be, is like planting the seeds of that. And then if obviously that's your vibe, and you're all in for my vibe too, then, you know, we can absolutely make some magic together as well. So you know, if you are listening and you think, actually, do you know what, I think I need one-on-one support, again, as always, drop me a DM. I'm here to support you. You can head to my website or my social channels. Again, everything is in my show notes. But yes, let's be accountable, you know, let's create that beautiful structure so then we can flow through it in a really graceful way. You know, everything is about the harmony, and that's what you deserve too. So yes, on that note, have a wonderful week, and just keep that in your mind this week. How can I get out of my own way? And if you are listening on time, it is a new moon tomorrow and Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll be honoring the new moon in Taurus, which starts a new energetic cycle. So even if you write down today or tomorrow or the next day your intentions, what it is you want to call in for this new cycle, please do, and it will involve you having to get out your own way, especially with Saturn involved right now. And if you aren't listening to time, you know, please do any new moon's about setting intentions. So new manifestations, that is the game. I'm sending you so much love and light. I'm recording this on Monday, but whenever you listen to this, happy day to you, my friend. Lots of love and light. See you soon.
If this episode resonated with you, please do like, follow and share with someone that you know would benefit. If you're looking to dive in deeper to becoming your most unapologetic, most authentic, shining self, please do head to my website and join my newsletter, where you will find out about all of my upcoming events and speaking opportunities and all of the things that I have going on. And also, if you would like to work with me, please do drop me a DM on any of my socials or through my website. Love and light.